Here's the deal. If I go into your life and I said, okay, would you let go of this, this, and this, and this, and this? And you're like, fine, I don't care. And I'm like, great, then it's not a problem. But if I go into somebody's life and I go, okay, can you let go of this, this, and this? And they're like, no, not happening, Brianne. It's not happening. Don't even ask me. That's not happening. That is my hobby. That is my thing I do. That brings me the most joy in my life. I would leave my family for this, blah, blah, blah. There's a problem.
Shh. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon.
Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave? Or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing? Join me each week as we take a deep dive exploring one subject, the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. This is a new chapter of Secret Life, and I'm excited for you to join the ride. Today, we are talking about, dun dun dun, self-preservation. Woo! Self-preservation, it is my favorite word. It's actually the word of the year. That is my all-time favorite word, self-preservation. Here's why. Everybody's obsessed with self-care, self-love, all those gushy words. And I'm like, fuck those words. They are overplayed. They run into the toxic positivity world that I do not like. And so one day I was like, I need to preserve myself. I need to protect oneself. And then the word self-preservation just popped in my head. And it was during a session. And I said to my client, I said, yeah, it's all about self-preservation. And she goes, what does that mean? I said, well, let's look up the definition because I love looking up definitions now. I used to hate looking up definitions, but now I love it. And it is the protection of oneself from harm or death, the protection of oneself from harm. That's how I look at it. If you're going to harm me, I'm not interested in having you in my life. That's a self-preservation that I am doing for myself. So it's also, I look at self-preservation when you're not doing that you are neglecting your own needs and desires and well-beings to people please others and conform to what others want and to societal expectations. No more. It's all about self-preservation because it is the first law of nature. All animals go into their lives. Number one law, self-preservation. They have to survive. It is a survival tactic, but we need to use it as a protection tactic around and away from harm. If you cause me harm, no, you are not in my life. That's how I look at it. And it also is setting intentions and boundaries is paramount and important for physical, mental, and spiritual self-preservation. So whenever I set a boundary, it's about my spiritual, my mental, and my physical self-preservation. And why did I want to talk about this today? Because anytime I hear, especially people in the therapeutic world doing this mental health work, they're always trying to push self-love, self-care, doing all those things. And it's like, yes, that's lovely. But when you have been in a trauma state or in a toxic relationship, sometimes it's so far. It's just so far. Like I couldn't imagine when anybody said that to me when I was going through the worst pain of my trauma healing, whenever they said, oh, do some self-love or self-care, it was like I couldn't even fathom what that would be. And they'd say, oh, buy yourself some flowers. One of them for, the work that I do is like, take yourself on a date, a nice date. I couldn't even get out of bed. Like it was that difficult. So self-love and self-care, it was so far from me that I like to look at self-preservation as an easier thing to reach for. If it causes me harm, I don't do it. And that's addictive behaviors as well. If eating that whole thing of cookies is going to cause me harm, stomach ache, bowel problems, weight gain, feeling crappy about myself, abusing, body dysmorphia, eating disorder issues, don't eat the bag of cookies, right? So is calling that toxic person to try to get them to fill you, is that a harmful act? Yes, letting toxic people back in, feeling bad about yourself, getting back into the cycle with a toxic person, wanting their love, validation, and attention, then they don't give it to you and you get gaslit or ghosted and all that stuff. Harm. So that was easier for me to do than to go for a walk on the beach, have a conversation with a caring loved one. Like I couldn't even get there. So it was easier for me to look, okay, I'm going to preserve myself. I'm going to protect myself from harm. How does that look? And I made a list. I just made a list of harmful old behaviors and patterns and things I used to do to hurt myself. And I made a list of people. Write those people, the red flag people, I call them. And then write the yellow flag people, the people you can talk to for a shorter period of time, but when you go longer, they make you feel like crap about yourself. Those people. And then I had the green light people where they are very loving, caring people. So I knew where to go to not cause myself more harm and damage to my mental, physical, and spiritual self-preservation, because it is a critical part. It's the most critical part of taking care of ourselves. And I'm not going to say self-care, but it is. It's a way, and it's also to get closer. And just so when you preserve yourself, you get closer to your own joy. I think that was a big realization for me. And when I'm doing this work with people, is that when they stopped those toxic behaviors, patterns, people, places, and things, right? They literally felt closer to self and then closer to joyful behaviors, patterns, people. It like got away of the fogginess. So self-preservation took away all of that. Here's some of the homework that I love to give people. Let me grab it for us. Okay. If you want to do some self-preservation, I usually don't give any of my type of work, but I think this episode is really important to share some of the work I do with my clients. So, number one question I always ask, what does self-preservation mean to you? You define it. What does that mean to you? For me, it is to protect myself from harm, my patterns and behaviors of harm. But what does it mean to you? What does that look like? Do you want more balance, more bliss, more brilliance in your life? Do you want to enhance your relationships? Do you want, to get rid of all those toxic things? So what does it mean to you? Then the second question, where in your life do you practice already self-preservation and you're not even aware of it? Where are the things you are already doing to not harm or cause yourself more harm? So, for instance, I have someone right now, she doesn't walk near her ex's apartment in New York. She just avoids the street completely. She'll go the long way because she knows if she walks past, she's going to get triggered and go into old fantasies, negative fantasies, all the reasons they broke up. What is he doing now? How is he with his ex-girlfriend or his new girlfriend? All of that stuff. And it's just a mind fuck for her. So she has made a point to do a self-preservation act to never walk down his street. Genius. Genius, because most people be like, I'm fine. It's been over a year. I can handle it. It's okay. I can walk down the street. It's like, no, she's never walking down the street again. There's no need for her to walk down the street. There's just no need. So that's one. What do you already do to practice self-preservation? Number 3, where in your life do you think you lack or struggle with self-preservation and why? Where are your blind spots? Where are the spots that after you hang out with, do, eat, activities, obsessions? What are the things you don't want to let go of if it's causing chaos and harm in your life or harm or chaos in your relationships? Those are the things that you are avoiding because you are wanting to be in the obsession or addictive or toxicity or chaos, or you want your nervous system hijacked. So where do you think you're struggling or lacking self-preservation in areas and why? So here's an example. Let's see. I've done the food one. I've done the toxic relationships one. Career. So let's hit that one. I'm working with another young client right now, and she just lost her job and she wanted to immediately go look for another job. And so she started applying. And then she realized that struggle she was having was internal. And she's like, wait, do I even want to do this career anymore? Because this, so far, the 2 jobs I've had in this career stresses me out, makes me want to take Adderall, makes me want to stay up all night, literally causes me more mental breakdowns. My relationships always crumble when I'm in this career. It's way too much pressure. I get obsessed. I get money obsessed. All these things, right? We broke down. And she's like, I don't know if this is what I should be doing anymore. And I said, great. Then let's do what we looked at other areas of her life. What's the type of a lifestyle does she want? Where does she want to grow? What brings her joy? What gets her excited? So we started doing all of that work to see, because she realized that the career she is in and was causing so much harm she wasn't even aware of, because it wasn't like blowing up her life into such a way, but she would wake up stressed, want to take an Adderall, which she's not supposed to be taking Adderall. So drinking more, then vaping a lot, then smoking weed at night to calm herself down. So that addictive pattern, even though it wasn't blowing up her life, was definitely not a self-preservation act. It was causing her a lot of harm. Number 4, what do you need to let go of in order to create more self-preservation? Yeah, let go. Let go. Anything you have your hands gripped onto and you're refusing to let go because you can't and you don't think you can live without it, probably not good for you. Here's the deal. If I go into your life and I said, okay, would you let go of this, this, and this, and this, and this? And you're like, fine, I don't care. And I'm like, great, then it's not a problem. But if I go into somebody's life and I go, okay, can you let go of this, this, and this? And they're like, no, not happening, Brianne. It's not happening. Don't even ask me. That's not happening. That is my hobby. That is my thing I do. That brings me the most joy in my life. I would leave my family for this, blah, blah, blah. There's a problem, because you are creating and won't let go of something that could be literally causing you major harm. And your life is probably slowly blowing up around you. And it's because your unwillingness to look at or let go of this certain thing. So let me ask that question again so you can ask it to yourself. What do you need to let go of in order to create more self-preservation? So the question is, what do you need to let go of to stop creating so much harm in your life, even if it's the littlest things? Is it, for me, Can I have a lot of sugar in my house? No, I will eat it all. I'm addicted to sugar. I love sugar. If it's there, I'm going to eat it. I love cupcakes. I love cookies. Cannot be in my house. Cannot, because I will eat it. I don't have any willpower sometimes when it comes to that, especially on those moments where it's high stressful. So that's one way I had to let go of having lovely baked goods in my home. All right, number 5, what can you start to implicate in your life to enhance your self-preservation journey? So what are those things you can bring in that you are scared to bring in, or get you excited but scares you at the same time, that like gets that little bubble in your stomach, like that? Can you bring that into your life in a little bit? For me, it was writing the first book, and now the second book's coming out soon. And the third book I've already started writing. So that I brought into my life, that is helping me get out of self, creating a new for the world, and sharing my journey with other people. And that got me into not causing harm, because the more I share and give of myself, I then don't turn back to my old addictive patterns. All right, number 6. What challenge do you think you may face in your journey of self-preservation, and how will you overcome them? Well, that's a fucking doozy, because until you start the journey, you don't know the challenges. So this is why I always think it's important to work with somebody with this, because doing this work yourself is always hard. It's hard because you are going to feel a lot of challenges. You're going to want to stop. You're going to go into withdrawal of whatever behavior, even if it's a small thing, even if it's an activity or a person, definitely a person, a beverage, a food, going out late at night. You go through a withdrawal because your body that was causing harm got used to that. So your nervous system has to calm down. So there is going to be a lot of challenges. When you make that change and you stop behavior that harms you, or stop hanging out with a person that harms you, there's a ton of challenges. So that's always good to work with somebody to help you walk through those challenges and know it's going to be okay on the other side. And it's a slow process. This is not fast. So impatient, you people out there that are impatient, change is slow. That's how it works. If change was fast, it's too scary. The nervous system, then it will immediately go back. So when it's a gradual, slow change, that's when it sticks. So keep doing the work, even though it's scary. Keep leaning into self-preservation, because setting intentions, setting boundaries is the most important for your physical and mental and spiritual self-preservation. And hopefully that is your word of the year, that we do not do anything that causes harm to oneself any fucking more. Yay. Thank you for listening to Secret Life Podcast. I'd love to know what your thoughts on the show, or you'd like me to talk about something else. Please email me at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time.
Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.